never talked ill of his children. He was always so bubbly about them, like those were his babies. So when all of this happened, I was just like, what the fuck? And
so that brings me to a question real quick. I mean, I don't think anybody over the last 6 or 8 weeks knows this dude better than you. I really don't. You guys probably spent more time together than anybody. Mm-hmm. Conversation, whatever, relationship. What do you think? What's the catalyst for this event? Do you have any? Have you had? And I know it's a hard question, but I want to get it out now. We're here. If there's a thought that you have that might lead us to understand a little bit why he might have done something like this. Like I said, I met Chris on Wednesday, so I don't know Chris, not like you do.
I've thought about this, and sometimes I think to myself, if I wasn't in that man's life, would his family still be alive?
Hello and welcome to True Crime Rocket Science, the most authentic voice in true crime. In this episode, we're going to look at the new video interview of Nicole Kessinger in conjunction with the transcript. The video interview is over 3.5 hours long, or the transcript for that interview spans 137 pages, basically enough to fill up a modest paperback. Around 3/4 through the transcript, through her narrative, CBI agent Kobach asks a vital question. He asks Kessinger the question, why? Why does she think Watts did what he did? In other words, he asks Nicole Kessinger for her input on the vital question of motive. The amazing thing is how comprehensively, how completely Nicole Kessinger addresses and answers that question. And so I'm going to hand over to the video. I'll also provide the transcript so that you can see exactly how she answers this question and see what you think about it, see what you make of it, see whether you agree with it. But before we get to that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Like, share, leave a comment, and let's get started. So just one more thing before we get started. I am going to be doing a series of examinations of certain parts of the Kessinger tape. And so if you're interested, make sure you are subscribed, hit the notification bell, and look out for further episodes on this topic. And now let's listen in.
And I've thought about this a lot, and I think I could give myself different responses. But in all honesty, I think they might be alive, but not permanently. I do not think that this man just snapped. I don't think that he just met some fucking amazing woman and he was just gonna try to fucking murder his family and then think that I was okay with, like, building a relationship with somebody who did something like that. Like, at what fucking point, you know? And not only that, like, I always try to say, you know, like, when we get to a point where we've been together long enough, I would love to meet your children. Like, I never discluded them from anything. Like, I remember coming back from Colorado Springs and I was like, oh my God, they got the Cheyenne Zoo down here. You got to take your kids, and like you can feed the giraffes and they would love it. And like, I always try to like show him cool things. Like, hey man, would your kids like this? Because my nephew would like this. Like, check this out, you know? Like, I sent him a screenshot of some rainbow unicorn Lucky Charms the other day. I was like, do your daughters know about these? Because I bet these are epic. Like, little things like that where it's like genuinely, like, I care. I do. Like, despite how messy this is and how I'm sure I'm going to be portrayed in the media and everything, like, I care about, like, his well-being with his children and all of that. And so, for me, like, when I think of what was he going through his head, I find it really hard to believe that I am the catalyst for all of this. I will be willing to say that I think me being in his life accelerated what was inevitably about to happen, but I don't think people just snap. Love does not murder. Hate and resentment murder. That's the way I look at that. I do not know what is the truth anymore and what's not, and I don't have all of the details, but this is just my like opinion, but I'm pretty convinced that that woman and him did not get along very well. And the reason they stuck together was, hey, we're going to do kids. And I think they also stuck together because they were in a very bad financial bind. And I think that she continuously disregarded it. And I think he messed up because he was too passive to say anything to her about it and really address it. And it just got to the point where it's just like you file bankruptcy and then what do? Just wait till you file the next one? I don't know. I don't know what their finances look like now, but from the way it made it sound, it's probably a pretty stark situation. And I don't know if hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt over and over and over again are enough to lead a man to like want to take somebody out, but I don't know. I've heard of people committing suicide over that shit before, and I would never justify what he did. I think it's fucking disgusting. He's such a fucking pig. But I try to like be like, why? I try to come up with a why, and I really think that he was struggling with her really bad, and not only that, he's got a third child on the way, and I know he was probably just like, I can't fucking afford a third kid. Wants it, but can't afford it, you know? And he always told me he, like, wanted a little boy. You know, he wanted a third child.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that it was just something like, I think they were in a financial situation, and I think she was very non-responsive to him trying to like solve problems and like get out of the situations that they were in. And I think people just get complacent is what it is. And then, you know, I think he met me, and I think I was like a breath of fresh air for him, where it was like he could get away and just be like, you know what, I can be myself. I don't have to worry about money right now. Like, you know, and this girl, like, I have my shit together. Like, my life is so like very in order.
You seem very organized and independent and dialed
always. Like,
in for 30.
I do really good at work. I have like almost a perfect credit score. I've been saving money for a house. Like, I don't mess around. I mean, I screwed up. This is like my one screw up ever, and it's about to be on like national news. But just very dialed in, and I think it was like a breath of fresh air for him to like be around something like that, because I don't think that he knew that that was like a real thing. And he had told me that like numerous times. Like, I didn't know like women like you like existed. It's just like, all right, like I don't, and when he meant it, it was just like the way you run your life. And so, because he got married really young, you know, and so to answer your question, I think inevitably it was going to happen. I think it just got propelled faster. I mean, I don't understand what he would have achieved with, if he wanted to be with me that bad, what he would have achieved with me by doing what he did. I think his situation at home was way, way deeper than anything him and I ever had, and it led to that. And I don't know what happened in that conversation that they had, but I kind of have a feeling that it wasn't even about her pregnancy or another man or me. I have a feeling it was about money.
So drilling down, you think money
I
for
think
him is the biggest downfall. You guys, I mean, beyond their relationship, really, I don't know that you know too much about the relationship or the particular issues other than monetary issues, financial issues. That sounds like what you guys talked about when you talked about their relationship.
I mean, like, he told me other things, like they really didn't like sleep together too much, stuff like that, but I feel like a lot of husbands and wives don't do that. But it was like, oh, of course you don't. That's why you're coming to me, you know? No, I think I just, like, me being in his life just pushed that forward. I honestly think that there's probably a good possibility that this would have just happened. Like, further down the road.
So did you see that before yesterday or Tuesday, or was that just kind of something that you have reflected on and you've thought about this now going, man, now that I see that in this guy, or just because of the lifestyle he was living, and if he didn't get removed from it, this was going to happen sooner rather than later, like you said?
You know, if I was to reflect on anything over, like, the past few weeks, besides, like, the stuff in the last few days where you're like, hey, is there, like, any red flags? I would say, like, no. But one thing I did notice one time is we were sitting on my couch, and I was telling him, like, my house, I have a really beautiful house. Like, it's set up, like, really nice. But everything I have is, like, from Craigslist or Goodwill. Like, I have pieced it together, and it's all, or, like, marked down stuff. And I have pieced it together in a way, like, it's pretty, huh? It's a pretty house, but you would never guess that, like, everything I got is, like, super discount. And one day we were sitting on my couch and we were just like bullshitting about some stuff, and I was telling him like, oh yeah, you know, like I got this marked down on American Furniture because like the corner was dented, and like I got this one off a guy on Craigslist, and I put it all, and I was like telling him, I was like, I put it all together, and I was like, to me, it was like, material things don't make a home. I was like, it's the energy and the love that you bring to the home. I was like, it's not about what it looks like. I was like, it's about what you like bring to it, like mentally. And he like collapsed in my lap and gave me like the biggest, most genuine hug I think that man has ever given me. And he just laid there and he was just like, you are so different. And I didn't even say anything. I just like put my fingers in his hair and just let him chill there. And I assumed that it had to do with the finances. But it didn't like stress me out. It was just like this relief sigh where he just like dropped into my arms. And I didn't like really think too much of that event, except for that I was like, this was like, it was like a really genuine hug, like collapsed into my lap, like just so relieved. And I didn't really think much of it until like I started reading about like their bankruptcy and all this other shit, and I was like, oh. So I think it might have been bigger than he let on, because he never told me about his bankruptcy.
Sure.
You know, he just told me about his current financials, and he didn't even get that in depth, but I'm assuming they're trashed. And so, yeah, I think her spending all that money and not listening to him, and him not standing up for himself in a calm and, you know,
Just elevate.
yeah.
Last hard question regarding this. And,
go ahead.
And then I have just two cursory questions regarding something else, and then I think maybe Tim has a few questions for you. But I think what you say about the finances directly at his wife. Do you think that goes to the children as well? Because she took, did she treat them like that, like they were gold and they got everything as well that you know of? Or do you think there's a separate issue for why he may have done what he did to his children other than financial?
That part I don't have an answer for. I can't fucking explain that. I don't even think there is an answer. I don't even think there's any sort of like computing up here that could possibly give a rational explanation for why that would have happened. I mean, the only thing that I've honestly thought of when I play this scenario over in my head is that maybe they woke up and saw him doing in their mom, and he was like, fuck. Now I gotta do this too. I don't know. I'm like, why? Because they were like his like little lifeline, you know, he that was everything to him, you know, and I get like those two have problems.
But he had a great relationship, but from what you're accounting is
with his kids.
He loved his children.
Yeah, like that part, it's, oh my God, that's the worst part of this whole mess. The worst part of this whole mess.
We won't dwell on it. We don't have to dwell on it.
No.
Let me ask you.
But, so no, I don't have an explanation. That's the only thing I can plausibly think of is maybe they saw it, but other than that, I don't know what the fuck.
Okay. Who's Charlotte?
Are you asking me who's Charlotte?
Mm-hmm.
Like one of my friends?
Mm-hmm.
She's like a really good friend.